Queijas e queijos, bem-vindos ao grande show. Está começando mais um Cheesecast live aqui no Cheeseheads Brasil. E hoje nós temos um convidado para lá de especial, Felipe Bia. Já vamos puxar ele aqui para a gente falar, mas hoje vai ser um papo muito bacana sobre o Packers também, né, gurizada?
Sim, boa noite, pessoal. Tudo bem com vocês? Hoje a voz do apresentador está péssima, é isso, mas estamos aí pro que deve galera. E o convidado é ótimo.
O Felipe tá sem mic ali.
Foi mal. Pô, convidado ótimo. Eu tô vendo o chat aqui, cara. O chat tá uma loucura, tô até nervoso já.
Exato.
Convidado ótimo, uma pessoa de coração enorme, uma das melhores pessoas que, no planeta Terra, sabe? Então, não posso produzir. Vambora.
Então vambora. Vamos receber o NFL Fan of the Year, Grossi Packers! Welcome to the big show. Welcome to the Cheeseheads Brasil, Tom Grossi.
Wow. So hold on. I have to say something. So I think 4 years ago, right, we did stuff together. I think it was like right around like the Jordan Love draft. And I remember this vividly, that you were the first ever to do like my intro in front of me, the whole and I was like, it gave me like so much joy. And I was just brought back to that moment just now. So I appreciate that. You guys have been phenomenal for years.
Oh man, thank you so much to be here. We are great fun your job so it's been amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
It's a really huge pleasure having you back here after 4 years, and you still like us. So welcome back.
I appreciate it. So that just means that we're going to draft another quarterback in the first round now, right? Because
no, man. Don't do that to me, please.
We won't survive that.
We're gonna have to replay the audio of Mateus being pissed about love selection.
Yep.
We have to.
Yep. Listen, I'm so glad I was wrong. I am so glad I was wrong.
Absolutely.
This is one of my favorite phrases because I was really pissed when Green Bay Packers drafted the Jordan Love, and today I really like to say I bite my tongue. So I'm happy with that.
Yep. We never know.
That's awesome, Tom. So I think the main question to everybody want to know is, how was your thoughts of Brazil being chosen as the location for the first NFL game in South America?
I am so beyond excited because, and this has nothing to do with me or like me potentially going or anything like that. It's just because I know you all have been around for a while, but even before that, like, there's such a strong Brazilian Packers fan base, and it's been loud for years. Like every video, every stream, even on like the Packers post conferences, and I know how passionate the fans are and that fan base is in Brazil, and I'm so fracking happy for them that they're going to be able to experience their favorite team for the first time.
For us, it's going to be a huge experience. And I think it's a memorable one for everybody who likes NFL, and especially for the Packers fans. So you can discuss with that.
Yeah. Like the atmosphere there is going to be incredible. Like it's going to be one of a kind. And I think it's going to go a long way of being like, oh, so like this is also Brazil. Right? Because there are people who have never been or do not know a lot about Brazil or potentially know like some things that may or may not be true. Like, I think that it's kind of just like, hey, no, because you get glimpses of it, like whether they play in like the UK, they've played in Mexico City, they've played in Germany, of course, like they're going to be playing in Spain. I think you see like little glimpses of like, oh, like this is what also the country is like. And I think just people getting that kind of exposure can only help, because then, you know, it's like, hey, these are awesome places too.
Yes, it's a culture. We can show our culture to the world. And besides, of loving NFL, besides of loving Packers or Eagles, we are Brazilians. We are sports huge fans of every sport. So I think everybody who is not from here, who is going to come in here, is gonna love us.
Yeah.
They love us.
And maybe we will
I think
have.
that's something that. Go ahead, Matheus.
It's okay. It's okay. But it's maybe we will have a podcast in São Paulo, Brazil.
Maybe.
Listen, only time will tell. Only time will tell. But just there could be some things. There could be some things in the works.
I think
So I can make the booking for the studio.
Just book the hotel. Yeah, there's
No, the hotel is gonna be a little bit expensive, but the studio for us to maybe record some episode here.
Gotcha.
with us.
Gotcha. Yeah, let's just say stay tuned. Stay tuned.
okay.
Okay, I got it.
I'm coming back to something that Matheus said when we had Aaron Aguilar 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And I think mostly the American crowd, I don't think you guys will be ready for what the Brazilian crowd is. Because the Brazilian crowd is insane. Like in terms of chants, like I think I joke around like 2 weeks ago, something Packers fans will chant Jalen Hurts. It's called vai morrer, which is called you are going to die. And I think it will be legit hilarious when they do that, because they're gonna do that.
So
Yeah.
here's the thing. So when it got announced in Brazil, right, and talking about like Arena Corinthians, there was immediately on the internet, they're like, they have a green ban. They ban the color green. Now, please correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding is that during those games, no green. It is also my understanding that, like, not the NFL games. I mean, like, just like the actual football or, soccer games, that you can't wear green within the stadium. But if I'm not mistaken, because I read a decent amount about it, did they not try to get the grass changed to a different color because it was green, which is the color of their rival? And if I'm not mistaken, the glass in the stadium was also made that it could not turn green. Like they went like that amount of just pettiness fuels me so much, because if I could ban the color purple from the state of Wisconsin, I'd do it in a heartbeat. 100%. I get it.
Yeah, the Corinthians, it's the ownership of the arena where the game is gonna be, and their main color is black. So they tried, when the stadium was built, they tried to make the green black. The grass, they tried to make the grass from green to black. Nobody allowed that.
Yeah, no, they're like, no, you can't do this.
but I think the problem with Corinthians that they don't want the Eagles, the home team, to be the playing green, which makes sense. I think if the Packers playing green, they're mostly gonna be okay.
Yeah, they should be fine. I mean, because there's gonna be green in the stadium when the Packers win, right? Like, but that's okay. That's not where the ban is. It's just during the other games, not wearing green.
Yes, for them it's a huge no for them.
Yeah.
The house team wearing green, and they actually asked to the Eagles team to please do not wear green. I beg you.
But like, that's also amazing that that's coming from like the owners of the arena, and they're just like, hey, no, like we just hate the color green because like sports like turn us into children, which is phenomenal. And it's just like, no, that color's bad because the bad guys wear it. And it's art. That's why I love sports.
Yes. Yeah. We are really passionate.
Oh, wait a second. A gente não fez tradução ainda.
Desculpa, galera, foi mal.
Eu faço, você faz.
Pode fazer, vai. Vai ser boa.
Gente, então, a gente perguntou como o Tom tá, quão empolgado ele tá pro jogo no Brasil, se ele vem pra cá, ele tá vendo ainda, né? Vamos torcer para que ele venha. E eu tô olhando pra cara dele, não tá entendendo absolutamente nada, coitado. A gente comentou sobre o ban, né? O ban informal da Arena Corinthians por causa do Palmeiras, né? Assim, eu acho que isso não vai dar em nada. O Corinthians pode até tentar forçar o Eagles a jogar de verde, mas enfim, o Tom tá, assim, acho incrível como tem essa paixão nos esportes, né, aqui no Brasil. Uma coisa que, assim, se ele pudesse banir o estado, a cor roxa do estado de Wisconsin seria, assim, incrível, né? Tá esquecendo alguma coisa?
Acho que não. Acho que você trouxe tudo principal.
Isso.
But talking about the Brazilian game, we are already calling that. It's a Brazilian game.
Yes,
The
it is.
house game for the Packers
We
here in
love
São
it.
Paulo.
We love it. We love it.
We don't care if it's a home game for the Eagles, but
No.
we have a
No, no.
lot of Packers fans. So
We
it's
change
gonna
this.
be a
We
home
will
game.
change this. We will
It'll
change
be a
Yes,
home
it's
game.
gonna
It's
be
a
a home game
game
for us.
for the Packers.
Yeah, they're gonna be so sad about it. So, in this mindset, what are your expectations for the Packers game here? You have any expectations for the crowd, for the team, for the everybody who's going to come here? You are going to come here?
We'll see. Stay tuned. We'll see. We'll see. You know, we'll see. I think so. That's a great question, though, right? Because it kind of ranges from what do you expect from like the viewing audience, like what are we going to see of like Brazil, the arena, the crowd, etc. And then there's like the football part of it, where it's what do you expect from the team? Because week one, like you are going international, they have to like bust down to Milwaukee because the runway isn't long enough, and you know that it's Austin Struble. It happens. So I think let me talk about from a fan standpoint. I really don't think the American viewing audience, and we kind of mentioned this before, has any expectation or idea of how crazy the audience is like gonna be there. Like, I just know this from like also just like watching concerts too, and just like seeing the difference between like an American crowd and a Brazilian crowd. Like, not to be like there's some differences. And I think just like the enthusiasm and the passion is gonna be crazy. And throw on top of that, it's a Packers game where there is a huge Packers fan base. So like, as just a viewing audience member, I cannot wait to see what that looks like. Because like, I'm a fan of wrestling, and the crowd makes that product better. I think the crowd is going to make the game better just because, and this happens even like with Germany, right? And we talk about like even crowds in the UK when there was Mexico City, like there have been amazing crowds and they have made or elevated the game. And I think you're going to see that. And then for the Packers themselves, I think if they were to do an international game like they did, you know, a couple years and it hasn't worked out so well, I think having it as week one, you're going to get some additional time off after that. It's like a little mini bye that's in between. I think that is going to, if there was a time for them to go international, it was then, because they're doing it week one, see what kind of team you are. You're obviously, everyone's kind of on an even playing field because the Eagles, they haven't been there either. And I think you'll be able to experience a home-like atmosphere just in a different place. And so, yeah, I think that they're going to come out pretty strong. But at the same time, if for whatever reason it doesn't go well, they have time to kind of shake it off. And they kind of went, okay, we did the long distance travel week one. From here, everything's going to be better, or at least easier.
Yeah,
compared to the Germany, sorry.
No, I'm just gonna add up that speaking of the Eagles that will most likely, I believe, fight for a playoff spot. If you go technically on the road against them in a neutral site, and you can avoid the hostile environments of the Lincoln Financial Field, it's like a win for the Packers, and it will most likely be a home game. Sure. I'm saying most likely because there's going to be a lot of neutral fans, like fans from all 32 teams. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. But that game will not turn to an Eagles game. That's a fact. About a Packers game, possibly. But just that we know that's not going to turn to an Eagles home game because the Packers fan base is way bigger than the Eagles here.
That's
so
a really fair
like
point. That's a fair point of just like you're not experiencing like a hostile crowd or a hostile environment. You're just like going in where it's most likely going to be like a pro Packers environment. So while it's not, you know, on a different playing field, yeah, could definitely be a positive.
In that side, I think it's important to address something here, and it's a more serious topic because we have a lot of North American people who want to come here, who want to know the Brazil, who want to see a game here in Brazil, but they are so over with fake news and Twitter about how dangerous is, about how diseases. So,
Sure.
guys, I really think you need to try to learn a little bit more from Brazil because it's not that, okay? And we don't have any type of disease running crazy around the country. And Sao Paulo, it's a big city, had a lot of things for you to do. Many restaurants, many museums. We have beaches in the, not in the capital, because the
Yeah,
capital
you
is a
gotta
really
travel for
big
that. But
metropolis. We have travel, but we have really beautiful beaches here. So if you want to come here because you're an amazing country, you're amazing people, and I really think you're gonna love it. It's a really bit of serious topic because I think it's a little bit of prejudice that guys are spreading in the Twitter, especially in Twitter, always Twitter.
it's always Twitter.
So I think it's a serious topic that we need to address here just for this memo.
No, I think it's a really good point because I think that there's nuance, right? So, for example, 30 and 30 last year. So, the amount of people who are like, be careful when you're in Detroit, you're going to get shot when you go to Baltimore, all this stuff about like Chicago, what have you. Now, like I live 45 minutes north of New York City, right? I know the city pretty well, live in the city, my family lives in the Bronx, etc. So, I've spent a fair amount of time there, used to do stand-up comedy down there. And like, are there areas where it's like, hey, it's 3:30 in the morning, you shouldn't go? Yeah, but that's every single city ever. And I think to also speak on that, like when I went to Detroit, when I went to Baltimore, Chicago was Chicago because I had an allergic reaction. That was not fun. But like Detroit was one of the best cities I went to. And like they're hosting the draft in 2 days, and I'm super excited for them because like it's an amazing city. Baltimore, oh my God, was incredible. Like Baltimore was one of the best times I had on the entire trip. And so to your point, like, yeah, there's obviously like the common sense of just like, here's where you should go and here's where you shouldn't, or here's where you should be like just smarter. But like, it's a place and it's a people and like they have amazing culture. It's something that you probably haven't experienced before. And yeah, you're only going to get that experience through visiting yourself. And I'm not trying to turn this into like a travel ad, but like that's anywhere, right? Like you could read all about a place 100% within reason, obviously. But yeah, like there's just experiencing it firsthand and being like, oh, it's not what people are saying it is, or, you know, what have you. I think it's, yeah, having that experience and having that, you know, travel and going to new places is a really good way to kind of see what's real and what isn't.
Yeah, and Leroy Butler said something similar. He wanted to visit Brazil, like to meet people, eat food, and film and show to people who couldn't actually come here to watch the game, to show what Brazil is all about. Like there's a bit of a misconception around the globe that Brazil is a big jungle. São Paulo is definitely not that.
It's a city. It's a very, very big city. Yeah.
If you went to New York, you went to São Paulo.
Yeah. I'm gonna do the translation. Gente, calma aí que aconteceu muita coisa. A gente estava conversando com o Tom sobre ele, possivelmente vir aqui. Ele estava comentando sobre, assim, ele fez o 30 por 30, né? Que ele visitou todos os 30 estádios da NFL em 30 dias. Vocês provavelmente devem saber. E ele estava contando a experiência dele, que você só vai conhecer a cidade mesmo quando você for. Não adianta você ficar lendo coisa aqui e ali. Você tem que ir no lugar mesmo para conhecer como é o ambiente, o povo, as cidades, assim. Então, basicamente, eu estou esquecendo algo. Eu sinto que estou esquecendo algo.
Não, e é aquilo, frisar que a gente não é uma selva gigantesca, a gente é civilizado, tem muita coisa para conhecer aqui, e é isso, tentar incentivar as pessoas, os norte-americanos, que a gente também é americano, importante frisar, os norte-americanos que tudo bem vir para cá, não é inseguro, a gente não tem doenças correndo solta, a gente não tem gente armada a todo momento. Existe crime em qualquer lugar, se você for para Nova York tem crime, gente, pelo amor de Deus. Então... É isso, vamos tentar, no Twitter, principalmente, diminuir esse preconceito contra a gente, porque não é legal. A gente quer que isso cresça e não é legal. Então é sempre importante usar qualquer voz para endereçar isso para todo mundo.
So I'm gonna shift into a different topic, Tom. We're gonna talk a little bit about more yourself. We had you in 2020.
Yeah.
And your life has changed considerably since then.
Same basement.
You quit your job as a teacher to become a content creator for the Packers. How was this transition for you?
It was pretty crazy. So for those who don't know, yeah, I was a high school social studies teacher, history teacher for 6 years, from 2025 to 2021. And I started teaching in 2015, and I also started Packcast in 2015. So I started them both at the same time, and I just did it because I love the Packers. I love the NFL, and it was just something that I was really passionate about. I always tell this story. It took me 3 years to make $200 doing this. And when we had an interview in 2020, I was not making really any money, like a lot of money doing this. I was still teaching. And COVID wound up happening. And that last year of teaching was really rough. I didn't know what 90% of my kids looked like because I was teaching seniors and it was just all virtual. It wasn't fun. And so it was kind of just taking a leap and going, okay, 2020 went really well. I actually kind of made some money doing this. It was the first time I ever made more money doing this than teaching, which is not difficult because you don't get paid a lot as a teacher. But what wound up happening is in June of 2021, I made the leap. And there's a lot of stuff going on in my personal life that wasn't so great, but I just really sunk all the time, the 40-hour work week plus that you would sink into teaching. I just took that and sunk it into this while I was already working a 40-plus hour week doing this at the same time. So it just came down to, okay, if this is going to work, I'm just going to have to work really hard. And that's what I did. And so it's been nonstop. There's been videos or content 5 days a week since 2019, August of 2019. I haven't missed a day. And yeah, I mean, that has led me to some crazy places. And yeah, it's truly incredible, like what this has become, and kind of just as things are continuing to grow, what crazier things I can do next.
And have you performed as stand-up comedy or you do that?
Yeah,
Right
so I have done it a few times since in the past few years, obviously, because like it's still something I love. Like I really enjoy it. And during COVID, I had a few opportunities to like get up on stage and like do some shows, and that was really cool because it's like scratching that itch of like, oh, you could do a bunch here, but I'm also talking to a camera, right? Or I'm talking to guests or what have you. So I think to touch on that, I want to get back to that as something like in the off season, when it's like dead, there's like no football to be talked about, that I can maybe start getting back into that just because it's something that I miss.
And about comedy, I have someone right here. If you could choose a Packer player to star in a comedy move, who it would be and why?
Okay, so they got to be on the team right now.
Yes, on the team right now.
Okay, because previously I'd been like Jamal Williams would have been perfect for that, right? Like would have been absolutely perfect. But my answer is going to be Jair Alexander, and that's pretty. I mean, I said it, and you're like, yeah, I get it, because Jair Alexander, the world kind of got a chance to see how like weird and funny he is last year, like when he's like, I guess coach didn't know I was from Charlotte, as he just like walks out on the field like for a coin toss. Like he goes into the back of like a reporter and it's just yelling into the mic. Like, yeah, he is, I think, the perfect candidate for that. It would just have to be a very unique brand of comedy movie. It would definitely have to be like an indie film.
And in the last one about this topic, what is the funniest or most memorable encounter you have had with a Packer fan in Lambeau Field or another place? A moment you had in your mind. Oh, it's funny. It's a funny thing to remember.
So it's even funnier because it happened last week. So last week, for the first time in 5 years, I took a vacation. Like I left my house and like went out and didn't work and literally just had a vacation, right? Besides like getting some content stuff. And legitimately, I was about to snorkel in this place called Silfra in Iceland. So it's in Iceland, right? In April, it's not very warm. It's pretty cold, but I love Iceland because I love hiking and I love just like being out in nature, what have you.
Okay.
And I'm in the back of a van, like getting changed, putting a dry suit on because I'm about to go into this river from like a glacier, and you could see swim between the tectonic plates. It's this, and there's like 6 companies that are there. So I'm in this back of this one van of one company on this tiny river in Iceland. And I hear, "Are you Tom Grossi?" And I'm like, "What?" And shout out to Drew, a Packers fan from Detroit who was there on vacation with his significant other, who was a diehard Packers fan who watches the videos, was in Iceland randomly in April and recognized me out of all places. So that was a pretty unique experience because I was like, there's no way, man. Like, I know like I have a few subscribers now, but like Iceland in April? So
under a tectonic plate.
yeah, like come on, man. So that was pretty crazy.
I mean, I think it's a trait of being a teacher. Teachers are always recognized around.
Yeah.
It's gonna hunt you forever. I mean,
It really is.
Pessoal, basicamente, just a translation for the people. Pessoal, basicamente, o Felipe abordou ali, primeiro, como que foi essa mudança para ele, porque o Tom ele já foi professor durante alguns anos, e ele simplesmente deixou de ser professor e decidiu se dedicar à produção de conteúdo. E a gente, como fã, sabe que tá dando super certo para ele. E ele estava contando como é que foi para ele, então foi basicamente largar uma coisa muito segura e se jogar de cabeça. E como ele tinha que fazer dinheiro, porque, né, precisamos fazer dinheiro, ele tinha que se jogar muito de cabeça. Então ele trocou as 48 horas por semana como professor por 48 horas como produtor de conteúdo. E a gente vê que tá dando super certo para ele é uma coisa extremamente gratificante. E aí, o Cabezudo abordou o fato dele ter sido comediante por um tempo ali, então ele fez alguns shows de comédia, e foi muito legal, assim, para ele, e acho que é uma coisa que ele quer repetir de novo, principalmente, assim, durante aquela parte morta entre temporada, draft, free agency, entre essa parte ali, então ele quer tentar de novo. Ele acha que a pessoa perfeita para fazer uma comédia seria o Jerry Alexander, e eu concordo. Ele com certeza seria a pessoa perfeita para isso. E também a coisa mais engraçada que ele já passou com um torcedor foi enquanto ele estava na Islândia fazendo snorkel. Ele dentro de uma van foi encontrar um fã virou para ele assim, estava escondido, estava de férias na Islândia, com uma roupa num frio danado, e falou assim: "Você é o Tom Grossi?" Como assim, gente? Então ele realmente é muito reconhecido por aí. Então, a gente vê que deu certo. A troca de carreira dele deu certo. Então, é isso. Galera, vamos para a próxima pauta. Deixa eu ver aqui qual que é a nossa próxima pauta, galera. Foi mal.
Draft? Maybe?
Yeah, we're going to talk about draft. I think
Perfect
everybody wants to
recap.
talk about draft.
Perfect.
Thank you. I talk a lot of my hands. Italian.
Listen, I'm Italian. I get it.
Yes, me too.
Yeah,
I'm Brazilian.
Yeah,
here in Brazil we have a lot of grandmothers, Italian grandmothers, so everybody here can say they are Italian.
There you go. That's fair.
So, talking about the draft, I mean, there is a concessions on the Packers needs, but what do you think it needs to be prioritized?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, the best thing is that we got Xavier McKinney. I'm so happy. Like, I am so happy that we got him because, like, especially if you're a Packers fan, you know how rare it is. You know, obviously under Ted Thompson, non-existent almost. But even under Goody, like, he'll go through like 2018, right? He'll have like the big signings of like the Smith brothers, right? Billy Turner, Adrian Amos. But he like went all out and spent big money on a big time free agent, which does not happen in Green Bay, Wisconsin a lot. And for him to go after McKinney, who is young and like one of the best safeties in the game, like that is going to dramatically transform that secondary, or at least that's the hope, right? So to not have to go and get a safety, because that was by far their most glaring need, it gives them flexibility within the draft. Now, are there like some positions that are more of a priority? 100%. I would still say they need a safety because they need somebody besides Xavier McKinney, right? Darnell Savage went to the Jaguars, so they need another safety. They need an inside linebacker. I would argue that's probably priority number one because they have Quay Walker, Isaiah McDuffie, right? Like those are the two guys who are going to be out there. They need a third guy. I don't think they'll draft an inside linebacker in the first because this is not a really great inside linebacker draft class. But going in the first round, I can see them targeting. I don't think they'll do safety unless it's Cooper DeJean, but if he's going to get drafted in the first, the Packers are assuming he's going to play corner, I would assume, because that's a lot to spend on a position that one is not very valued in the NFL, which is safety, or they already just spent big money. So I think they'll address safety, but it's just going to be a day 2 or day 3 pick. So I think they'll either go corner or offensive line in the first round. Because with O-line, yeah, Dave Bakhtiari who leaves, but I think Rasheed Walker is going to be fine there. You have some questions about interior. And so like that brings up guys like Graham Barton, right, who's come up a lot. I talk about him on the channel. Amarius Mims, like I know he's a tackle, but like his name has come up a lot. Guyton, his name has come up a lot. And I think that fans are like, okay, if we spend that on a tackle, that's fine. But if we're spending pick number 25 on interior offensive line, that's kind of like, why are we doing that? And I push back against that, and I'd say, listen, offensive guards are getting paid more than ever. If a guy like Graham Barton's there, he's versatile, can play center, he could play tackle if he really needed to. He played left tackle, or he could play guard. So I think that they're going to address offensive line likely first, if not go for corner. But then after that, you're looking at inside linebacker, running back, 100%. Definitely need another running back. But again, that's going to be kind of end of day 2, early day 3, I'd assume.
So I'm just gonna do a little translation, gente. O Tom acha que não vem safety, que não vem side linebacker, porque a classe de side linebacker é fraca, de fato, é muito fraca, né? Inclusive, vou dar um rate semelhante ao do Cabeçudo, se der linebacker primeira rodada pro Packers esse ano. Ele acha que se for o Cooper DeJean na 25, provavelmente vai ser para ele jogar de corner, né? Não, mas assim, de safety. E o Tom também citou o Graham Barton, que é um prospecto que eu amo, que, assim, os guards estão sendo pagos mais do que nunca, né? Estão ganhando um dinheiro enorme. Então, se ele estiver lá, vale a pena o Packers investir, né? Mas, assim, safety, linebacker, eu concordo com o Tom. Provavelmente não vem, não deveria vir. So...
Cooper DeJean smells like cheese. Smells like
It's the main name for all of us.
Absolutely.
I spoke to him at the combine. He's like a very serious dude. Like he's just like football. Like I just want to play football. So yeah, I mean,
you think he's gonna be at 25?
Say again?
You think he's gonna be at the 25?
I don't know if him or Barton are gonna be there at 25. Yeah, I mean, if that's the thing, like he's an insane athlete. I think if there's somebody the Packers trade up for, it would be Cooper DeJean. But I don't know if they do it. Because if there's any question that he can't play corner, they're not going to... One, I don't think they're drafting a safety in round 1. And 2, I don't think they're trading up to get a safety. So that's the only... I don't know. If he's there and he falls to 25 and they have him ranked up there, I could definitely see them taking him. Just because, again, he's amazing athlete, could be versatile. If it comes at the end of the first, cool. But if they're trading up, they think that guy can play corner.
Yeah, and I mean, I talked a little bit about this on our live stream last week. I think if the Packers do move up, they're mostly gonna move up for a guy like Quinn Mitchell or Tanner Arnold that they know that can play corner. I don't know if they view DeJean as a safety. And my thing with O-line is because I mean the Packers have been so successful finding talent like day 2, day 3. So why trade up like 8, 9 spots? There's been some rumors about a trade with Seattle. But my thing is, why are we going to trade up for a position that have been so successful in finding talent later? In my head, it doesn't make a ton of sense. I'm not against it, but it doesn't make a ton of sense.
No, I agree. Because like Goody has found, right, like that day 2, day 3 talent consistently at offensive line. Like he'll draft someone and be like, oh yeah, like Elton Jenkins got drafted. And I was like, oh damn, like he's good. Like he didn't allow a single sack. Like he was a monster and he's been great. So they find talent. They, develop talent really, really well along the O-line. I agree. The only caveat I could see is if they're looking at this season, which I think they kind of are. If they're looking at this season, they're like, okay, there's a tackle that we know, put him in day 1. He's going to play well. Like, or at least that's how it's projected. And if they really think like, hey, this is the start of like a Super Bowl run, like we're going to be really aggressive. But even then, I can't quite get there. So I was like, that would be a big swing for an organization that usually doesn't swing big, at least in there. Now, I mean, Goody also comes out and talks about in his press conference, right? He's like, we have 11 draft picks. I'd love to have 13 or 14. The only way you're getting that is by trading back. So I think I would be shocked if they traded really high up to grab like a tackle. But I'd be even more shocked if they traded up to get a guy, like you said, that they could get later with all the success that they've had.
I mean, everybody here is anxious for the draft. So if you want, if you up to, you can do a little crossover. We have our own coverage from the draft here. We have 2 days live. Here in Brazil this year for the game, we have a lot of eventos. Me fugiu a palavra. A lot of events. Yes, thank you. Running up to the city or como falar turismo governamental?
Promote the game.
Yeah, no. Just to promote the game, we have our governo, prefeitura. Gente, prefeitura.
City Hall.
Isso é o prédio. Mas our City Hall is going to promote the game through not just the game, but the entire season. And they're going to do a huge event for the draft. And I'm going to be there. But the boys are going to be in the live, 2 days live. So if you want to do a crossover, maybe you're up to that.
Well, I'll at least send a raid over. Yeah, because we tried to work it out where I was going to come. Yeah, because I'm streaming both days. So, yeah, I know we tried to work it out for night 1. But, yeah, we'll send some raids your way.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be awesome. Thank you.
Should we open stuff? Go ahead. Sorry.
Everybody in the comments are asking me to try to teach you a couple of words in Portuguese. But if I try to teach you that, our live can't be monetized. So I'm going to have to pass that. So for the last...
Bears still suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understood that part perfectly well, and I did not speak it. Okay, so...
I mean, they want you to try to speak this in Portuguese, but I don't think it's a good catch for us. So Aaron Nagler and Leroy asked me to teach them some food. And I chose cheese bread that here in Brazil we call pão de queijo because it's amazing and it's a cheese bread. I mean, I think you can try that.
So wait a minute. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
Aaron Nagler, one of the biggest Bears haters there is, wanted to learn about cheese bread than to learn the phrase "the Bears still suck." Because I got the song copyright. We can't do copyright because I get that. That's fine. But wait a minute. I want to know how you just say the phrase "the Bears still suck." That's what I mean. I would use that in everyday conversation.
I mean, the Bears still suck. I'll make a family-friendly version here.
So still stink works. That works.
Yeah. So, os ursos são uma merda. Because the other one I can't say, so they're gonna shut that one,
bear,
right?
bear is urso. Urso.
Urso.
Yeah, yeah,
Isso.
yeah. Urso.
Yes, bear.
Urso.
Orso. Got it.
Urso. É. Just this.
É.
É.
Easy. Like
É.
Italian.
Urso. É. Merda.
Oh,
Merda.
that. Oh, merda.
Merda.
Oh, trust me. I know merda. We're good. We're good. Okay. Oh, I got you. I got you.
So this is how you say the bear
Like-
to
like-
suck in Portuguese. It's a
Yeah,
family-friendly
It's a
version.
family
The
friend.
family-friendly version. Yeah, no, I got it. I got it.
Bear's,
Just want to keep it.
Bear's
we gotta keep it
still,
family-friendly.
Bear's still a shit. Bear's still a shit.
Should
It's
we open
literal.
some?
Wait, so
Literally.
that's the family-friendly version.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. That's the family
Yes.
version. Yeah, yeah. And another version is so heavy to this moment.
That's
You
phenomenal.
can't say that in the internet.
Yeah.
So
Brazilian
this is
guys,
how you say
Okay.
the bear to suck.
That I am so happy to have learned that. I'm very happy that I can use that now. Like I could just go out and talk to people and be like, "Hey, do you know how to say this in Portuguese?" I do.
I mean, and you're a privileged guy because nobody asked that for Aaron Hagler, just for you.
You know what? And I appreciate that. But I'm also going to express my disappointment in Aaron Nagler for not pushing harder to learn that phrase because
Yeah, okay.
now when I talk to him next, I'm going to be like, "You learned about cheese bread instead." No offense
I
to
mean,
cheese bread.
he's
Cheese
gonna
bread's
be in
gonna
Brazil. We're
delicious.
gonna teach him. We're gonna teach him here in Brazil, and we're not gonna teach him the family-friendly version.
That's
So you have
the
to come-
Patreon content. That's the
Ex-
extra.
Exactly. So you have to come here in Brazil to learn the non-family-friendly version.
That's a perfect like come to Brazil. You'll learn how to say the bears still suck.
Yes.
Yeah, with some
And
beers.
this is gonna be our propaganda.
Phenomenal.
Jump here is saying, Tom, I watch all your videos. You're amazing.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
We have some of those.
Oh,
You can hear about a place, but it's a different feeling when you actually experience a place, as Samantha is saying.
Very true.
Yeah, that's true. Guilherme is saying, hey, Tom, you said about banning the purple from Wisconsin. So why do you hate them so much? They never won anything. So I'm thinking it's the same reason for me. They stole Brett Favre.
Well, listen,
That
now
it?
they can have him. They can have Brett Favre now. But yes, back in the day, I was very upset about that.
Yeah,
No, the reason why it's the Vikings, otherwise known as the purple incarnation of Satan, why it's the Vikings is because they brag like they're actually a relevant team where they haven't won anything. They haven't won a single. How many Super Bowls they go to? Nothing, right? One. They went to them, didn't bring back anything. The second thing is they cheered when Aaron Rodgers got his collarbone broken, right?
Yeah.
They steal all of our former players, Greg Jennings, Brett Favre, Ryan Longwell. I mean, heck, look at Aaron Jones, right? And it's like, we're getting back at the Packers, but they never win anything. So, yeah,
Aaron Jones
That's-
broke my heart. Aaron Jones
that's-
broke my heart.
it like my favorite player on the team. My
Yeah.
favorite player on it. And I was like, cool.
Yeah.
Just not only does he leave, which is, but then he goes
Yeah.
to them.
Yeah,
I was like, come on, man. That
and it's okay. Oh, it's a professional. It's a business. So the Vikings. No, the Vikings
No.
not business.
no. That's vengeance.
It's vengeance.
It's vengeance.
Fabio is saying, Tom, you gotta come to Brazil. You gotta experience our crowd, man.
Listen,
You gotta do it.
listen. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
We have a lot of things to teach you.
It's true. I have a lot of phrases to learn.
Yes.
So I think we're at our time, right? Is that it?
Yeah, we go a little bit longer if you have another question. That's cool.
Oh, okay. Do you have any more of those? Let's see.
Or we could sit here and just stare at each other. We could learn about other phrases. Like we can talk about the weather.
I mean, we have a little bit of game, the Packers draft superlatives. I think it's gonna
It's
Phil,
just
this-
relatives.
Okay.
Like I think Paul Brad from Packers Wire did this last year, and there's like some topics like Packers related in the draft this year, 2024. Tom, what is the Packers' biggest need?
It's inside linebacker.
In one tweet.
It's true.
Inside linebacker, okay.
It's inside linebacker, yeah.
The Packers absolutely should not do it. And why they shouldn't do it in the draft this year?
They should not do it.
Draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
first round.
Well, draft a quarterback in the first round or the first 2 days. Yes, they shouldn't draft a quarterback. They're probably going to do one later. Full disclosure, day 3, they're probably going to draft a quarterback. But
Yeah.
yes, not in the first 2 days.
The Packers must
Draft, they need to draft some secondary player. Somebody who has played in the secondary before. I don't care if it's safety or corner. I'm assuming it's going to be both, but they need to draft someone in that region.
Cool. Don't forget about
Your hatred for the Minnesota Vikings.
Don't be surprised when
The Bears still suck.
most likely pick at 25.
Williams, I'm gonna laugh.
Listen,
The most likely pick it at 25.
likely pick. I'm going
Yeah.
if he's there, I'm going Barton. If he's there, I'm going Barton.
Who screams Packers for you?
Barton. Literally,
Yeah.
Barton he's the only thing that would make him better is if he was definitely going in the second round, because then Goody would just be even more over the moon. He is the kind of guy that they target all the time. He's versatile. He can play all over the offensive line. He's a depth piece. They love O-line. Yeah, he screams Packer.
How many notebooks have you used during your time making videos?
Ooh.
And how many are left to reach 5,000 notebooks?
So this one started. What's the first one? What video? Hold on. This is the Mark Murphy interview from April 4th, 2022. So that's at the beginning of this. So I think I've gone through 3, but there's a caveat there, because for all the scripts I do for like Coach or Scripted or a Saga, those are all on loose leaf. So that is like a pile that's that big. So yeah, it's probably a notebook in of itself. So probably close to like 4 notebooks at this point.
So you should be the name who screams Packers.
Yeah.
Incredible.
That's what this was for. That's what that was for.
It's amazing.
So I think that's it, guys.
Yeah.
That's
Any other
pretty
questions?
much it.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh God. Oh man. Thanks for coming. Really.
It's a really pleasure having you back here.
Absolutely.
We look forward to doing this anytime soon.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we are trying. It's important to know we are trying to make a huge tailgate from the Packers fans.
Awesome.
So, just for the Packers fans.
There you go.
So you have to come here. There is no option for you.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
So can I ask a favor, a last one?
Sure.
We can do an intro for our videos with you look the camera and say I'm Tom Grossi and this is Cheeseheads Brazil.
Got you. Come on.
Let's
now.
do it, man.
Come on now. Come on now.
Camera,
I got
action.
You. I'm Tom Grossi, and you're watching Cheeseheads Brazil.
That was awesome.
Nailed it. Let's go. Let's go.
You nailed it. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Oh, I
much.
stared right
Thank
into the
you,
light
Tom.
on that one. Oof.
So just one picture, because we do that with
Okay.
everybody.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, don't forget about that. It's
Make
important.
sure my strings
Okay.
even.
The key
You're
word
doing?
is for the picture.
Bears to sucks.
Bears to suck. 1, 2, 3. Bears
Bears
to
Bears
to
to
suck.
sucks, guys.
Nailed it.
That's it. Thank you.
That's it.
Oh, thank you so much.
Tom.
Dale. Thank you
Thanks
guys.
so much.
You
It
take
was
care.
awesome.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, man. É.
Foi isso, galera.
That's it. Foi isso, gurizada. Muito
A
legal.
gente tá
Nossa, Tom
aumentando
Grossi é
muito a
muito
nossa base.
simpático.
Gente, que teve de audiência gringa hoje.
Demais, né?
Gigantesca.
Inscrevam. Subscribe, guys. Subscribe. Like. Thank you. O Tom tá
Thank you,
agradecendo
Tom.
todo mundo aqui.
Thank you, Tom.
Cara, maravilhoso. Cara incrível. Tom Grossi é um cara realmente diferenciado. Bom demais.
Sim, cara.
E
assim,
agora é isso, cara.
Era gente como a gente, né?
Gente como a gente.
Literalmente.
Não.
Tem aí seu emprego.
Eu acho que eu tava mais na ansiedade pra essa do que do Negro e do Leroy Butler. Sinceramente. Não sei por quê.
Cara,
Eu não bato a cabeça do que mentiu pro Leroy Butler na semana passada.
Cara, eu tenho que responder ele, inclusive. É o seguinte. Cara, gente como a gente, né? Que nem a Bia falou, né? Gente como a gente, tem o seu emprego, tem essas contas para pagar, e tá aqui falando do Packers, e, cara, muito merecidamente tem um conteúdo muito massa, muito absurdo no YouTube. Ganhou lá o prêmio do NFL Fan of the Year. E, cara, foi incrível, assim. Nossa, meu Deus do céu, cara. A gente conseguiu entrevistar mais um cara lá da gringa que acompanha o Packers de perto aí. Que trabalho que a gente fez antes do draft.
Tem live, hein?
Não, e é isso. Então, assim, a gente fez todo esse trabalho aí pré-draft, de trazer esses caras para falar sobre draft, para falar sobre NFL, para falar sobre Packers. Então, a gente, se vocês puderem nos dar um presente, nos presentei com a sua audiência na quinta-feira. Quinta-feira estaremos aqui ao vivo para cobrir o draft da NFL na primeira rodada, e na sexta-feira, a segunda e terceiras rodadas, estaremos aqui para cobrir também. Então, nos prestigie com a sua audiência, chega aí, deixa um recadinho pra gente, a gente gosta muito.
E agora em português eu consigo dizer, eu vou estar na prefeitura de São Paulo, no evento da Espetoures.
É verdade.
Que a prefeitura vai estar fazendo, galera, então aproveitem bastante.
É verdade. A gente vai ter nossa correspondente lá em loco. A gente não conseguiu traduzir na hora, né? Bom, eu já não sei inglês mesmo.
Eu não sei como que fala a prefeitura.
Eu fiquei assim com tanta peninha, porque eu queria muito, tipo, te falar na hora, mas eu não sei.
Eu meio que sabia, mas eu não queria interromper a fala da Bia.
Interrompesse, pô! Eu não lembro.
Era aí, nessa hora tinha que interromper. Ai, muito bom.
Ó, gente, estejam aqui no
draft.
Quinta-feira para me ver dando rage com o Packers pegando linebacker na primeira rodada.
Cara, sabe que eu não sei, ando com um feelingzinho aí do Edwin Cooper, hein? Quem sabe ele pode pintar aí. Pra loucura do... É verdade. Tu vai estar lá no trabalho jornalístico, lá encobrindo o evento. Tá?
Exato, mano. E se eu surtar na frente do prefeito?
Tem essa...
Como é que faz?
Tem essa possibilidade.
Porque catar o computador na mesa. Não acredito que pegaram o quarterback. Time de merda.
O cara começa a gritar, se xingar muito, sem ninguém entendendo nada, tá ligado?
Exato. Acontece, né? Tudo bem, a gente tá acostumado. Pensando no meu dia.
Bom demais. Gurizada, é isso. Entregamos mais essa livezinha. Vou passar a palavra aqui para Bia e pro Felipe, mas brigadão aí pela audiência de vocês. E quinta-feira espero vocês aqui para a nossa live do draft aqui no Cheesecast Brasil. Valeu, Bia. Tamo junto.
Valeu, gente. Muito obrigada por terem aproveitado essas 3 semanas aqui. Foi foda, foi difícil do trabalho, mas foi incrível. Então, para todos que participaram, muito, muito obrigada. E não larguem nossa mão. Estamos aí quinta-feira com conteúdo. Cara, todos os anos tem. Vocês estão aqui todos os anos, então vocês sabem que é muito bom. Então, é isso, pessoal. Até quinta. Beijo.
Valeu, gente. Valeu, Felipe.
Valeu, cabeça, Bia. Prazer fazer mais essa live com vocês. Pô, as últimas 3 semanas foram incríveis. E, como a Bia falou, é só o começo. Não larga a mão da gente, não, porque tem muito mais conteúdo vindo por aí.
Exatamente.
Então, vamos que vamos, tocando barco, fazendo o que a gente ama.
Muito bem. Tudo pelo Packers, que a gente ama isso aqui. Obrigado, gente. Até quinta-feira, hein? Já tem as lives criadas, inclusive, aqui no YouTube. Já pode entrar no canal aqui, acionar o lembretezinho ali para ficar ligado, tá bem?
Tá lá.
Vamos acompanhar aqui a primeira, segunda e terceira rodada juntos aqui no Cheesecast Brasil. Tamo junto. Até quinta
Valeu, gente.
e go back, go!